How's it going and welcome to the Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this pedal. This is the OPFXS Twin Boost. But before we do, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can be kept up to date every time I put out a new video. So, this is the Twin Boost by OPFX. So what this is a boost pedal, right? It increases what comes out of it basically, right, by a set number of dB. There's one knob, this knob here, and it controls the number of decibels that you're going to boost yourself by, and that knob has a all related numerical display which reads out exactly what decibel boost that is. So you turn this and that readout increases. There's two switches. This switch bypasses or basically engages that boost level that you set with this knob. And then this has a number of different functions because this pedal is not just a standard boost pedal. Though I will say, as a standalone boost pedal, it's fantastic. It's completely silent and it's incredibly powerful. It can go up to 24 decibels of boost with this, which is insane. And at higher boost levels into an amp that doesn't have, ridiculous levels of headroom, it gives really beautiful distortion. Really boosty kind of vintagey sound distortion, but it gives an exact representation of your guitar and can go very, very loud with it, okay? There's three modes. It has joint boost mode. Basically, there are two boost circuits inside this pedal. That's really crucial, right? When you're in joint boost mode, this knob assigns the same amount of boost to both of those, right? You put your guitar in, the guitar out, you control the amount of boost, and when you hit this switch, it engages it. However, there is another switch over here, and in joint preset mode, what that does, there are three presets, so you can have 5, 10, and 15 levels of boost selectable. Turn on the pedal, and you can cycle through them with this, and go boost to 5, then boost to 10, then boost to 15. Or indeed, you can turn it off and, choose which boost you want before you play a solo or change to a dirty sound or whatever. But there's also a MIDI input, so it can accept CC and PC messages to tell it, which boost you want to engage at any particular point, right? Then there's another mode called gain step mode, and what that is you can assign that whenever you turn on the boost, like normal, but whenever you hit this foot switch, the boost increases in increments, right? And what that means is, say I assign this knob to say 5, okay, 5 dB. I turn on the boost, and every time I hit this, the gain increases by 5 decibels. So it goes from 0 to 5 to 10 to 15 to 24, because 24 is the highest level of boost. And you can control, obviously, what that increment is, but you can also control the speed at which it ramps up to that. Which actually, when I saw this, I would never have any use for that. I don't know why anybody would. But then when I plugged it in, I tried it, and I experienced what it's like to gradually increase your gain by a certain decibel amount over a certain period of time. It's actually a really cool effect. You'll see it in the audio demo part of the video. The third way it can be used is what's called separate preset mode, and this is where this pedal really is mind-blowing in my opinion. So if you can think of the fact that it's got MIDI, so you can recall whichever preset you want, but also the ins and outs are stereo, right? Which means that two things. Either one thing is you have to plug in a stereo signal if you're going to put out a stereo signal. You can't plug in mono and put out stereo. That's very important. So you'd have to put this after a stereo pedal on your board, okay? And then you'd be able to assign a different boost level to two different amplifiers, which gives you mixes of cleans and dirty, which is really, really interesting. But also, it can be wired in such a way where it becomes an in and out, but also an effects loop. So that's a game changer, which means you can sit this on top of your amplifier, put one boost in front of your amplifier and one boost in the effects loop, which is huge, because that means I can get more gain with this, but then get more level with this. It becomes two boosts, one in front and one after something. And what that means, if you put it on your board and wire it around all your other pedals, all your other gain pedals, you can hit one switch and it'll make all those gain pedals dirtier, but then you can hit a different switch and it'll make all those gain pedals louder. So it becomes a gain boost and it becomes a level boost separately. And also those boosts are recallable via MIDI. Oh, and also you can choose to have a gain boost and a level boost as well. Amazing, really, really amazing. It becomes two pedals effectively at two different points in the signal chain, which is huge. I demonstrate that in the video and I think it's where this pedal really, really shines. So yeah, that's the Twin Boost. Let's take a listen to it. Okay, so to demo the Twin Boost, what I'm doing is I'm playing this American 60th anniversary American Stratocaster, right? It's got a humbucker in the bridge. I'm going to be spending most of my time on that humbucker. I have a radio lead here going into the Twin Boost, and then the Twin Boost is plugged into the Joyo American sound, and then the American sound is plugged directly into my interface. I'm going to add a little bit of reverb in the DAW after the fact just to sweeten it up a little bit. But the reason I'm using the American sound is there's 3 modes in the pedal. When I demonstrate the third mode, which is the separate mode, the separate preset mode, it makes sense to use the American sound in that context. But effectively, it's replacing my amplifier. Okay, so there's 3 modes, like I said. The first mode that I'm going to demonstrate is joint preset mode. And what that means is there's 2 boosts in the pedal. In joint preset mode, the first boost and the second boost get the same amount of dB based on this readout here, right? So right now, there's 3 presets, 1, 2, and 3. Right now, on the first preset, I have 5 dB, second one I have 15, and the last one I have 24, which is a max. So how you would use this, right, in my opinion, is you get 3 different levels of distortion. So if I turn the pedal off, here's the American sound by itself. Okay, so I'm going to just play a little riff. Okay, so I'm playing that. Say I wanted that, but I wanted with just a little bit more like bite. 5 dB later. Okay, that works. But say I want to do it with a more open chordsy kind of distortion thing. Same pedal, totally different sound. And I bring it up to 24 for a lead sound. So what you effectively get is this one pedal has 3 different sounds in it available. So they're available with the second foot switch, but they're also available via MIDI. So you could put it in front of another pedal or in front of an amplifier and get 3 different levels of distortion from one pedal. In that way, now it is a boost, right? So I think it's important to note that it's not a silky overdrive. But it's also worth noting that it's completely silent. That's 15 decibels of boost extra. 24, no noise. It's not how he did that. That's amazing. So that's the... By the way, pretty easy. All you do is, if I wanted to change that 5 to 6 or 8, I would just change it to 8, hold in the preset switch, and that saves it. You can do that on any preset. That's how you save a preset. So then to go to the joint gain step mode, which is very interesting. So I hold down this F2 little micro button here, and the status LED here, which is the on and off light for the pedal, turns to blue. And what that means now is every time I hit this, so first of all, right now there's an 8 decibel boost, right? So off, on. So what's really cool about this is if I bring that down to 0, what I've done is, using the controls in the pedal, I've told it every time I hit this switch, increase the gain by 10 decibels, right? Over a specific time frame. So watch, I'll show you what I mean. Pretty quick. So now the reason it only goes to 24, obviously, because 24 is the max boost available. So what that's doing is every time I hit this switch, once I turn the pedal on, every time I hit this second foot switch here, it increases the gain over a short period of time by 10 decibels. So if I wanted to change that, all I have to do is say I wanted to increase the time, I can bring the time up to say
54. I'm not sure what the measurement is, milliseconds maybe. And then I hold down this switch and it changes it, right? And then I go over to this switch and say, right now the boost is 13, or the gain steps are actually supposed to be 10. So if I wanted to change the gain, reduce the gain steps to 5, I simply hold down the switch and now it's 5. So I'm going to check that. 5. Sorry. And 22 milliseconds, I'm going to change that to 46. Hold down the switch. Okay, so now, if I've done it right, it's not the easiest pedal in the world to understand. It should now go up by a slower increments of 5. So if I reduce this down to the end, starting at, unity gain, but increases really slowly by 5. I'll show you that again. Bring it back down to 0. Hit it again up to 10. And up to 15. And up to 20. And up to 24. And that's gain step mode. So it increases the gain by a preset amount over a preset period of time that you can control both of those. When I got this pedal and I found out what that did, I went, I can't really think of a use for that. But it's funny, when you start playing it, you kind of think, oh, that could be interesting to do this or that or whatever. And it's again, I thought it was kind of functionality for functionality's sake, but it's not. You could do some really cool things with that. So the third mode is called separate presets, but I need to rejig the setup, which I'll explain when I set it up. So I'm just going to cut to that now. So where this pedal really comes into its own then is the fact that it has stereo ins and outs, which on initial kind of thought, you would think, oh, that's going to allow me to put a different level of gain into two amplifiers. So you come into it mono and out of it stereo and go into two different amplifiers, and therefore you're able to boost those two amplifiers with separate levels, which could be really useful, right? But the other thing is, because it has stereo ins and out, it effectively has an effects loop, okay? So how that works is, using TRS to dual mono cables, which you will need to do this, I have a patch bay here on the end of the board. And the reason I have the patch bay is, when you use patch cables, the cables aren't long enough to go to your guitar and amplifier. So what I'm doing is I'm using the patch bay basically as a cable extender, okay? Guitar comes in here to this input, comes out of that and goes into the input of the, via one side of a what's called an insert cable, which is TRS to dual mono. So it comes out of the patch bay and then into the twin boost. Then it comes out of the twin boost and into the American sound. It comes out of the American sound and back into the twin boost. And then it comes out of the twin boost into the patch bay, out of the patch bay and straight into my interface. So I'm just running the American sound here. And the reason I'm using that is it's a preamp. You could do this exact same thing by putting the pedal on top of your amplifier and putting it both in front and behind your amplifier, using the effects loop on your amplifier. And what that would do is, because it has MIDI, with a remote MIDI controller, you could leave this on top of your amplifier, use these insert cables and use it as a boost both pre and post your amplifier. And I will explain why that's useful now. Okay, so if you consider that this is either a pedal or it could be the preamp on your amp, okay? Okay, so I'm going to turn it off first, just so I'm playing this Strat straight into my interface, and that's what it sounds like when you don't have any sort of preamp or speaker simulation. This has both. Turn it on. I have a little bit of drive on, and I have the level boosted quite significantly, and there's a reason for that. I'm trying to reduce headroom, which will become apparent in a minute. Okay, so on preset 1, at the moment I'm in separate preset mode, which means that there's two boosts running all the time that I can choose from, and one is before the pedal and one is after the pedal, okay? So the red boost is after the pedal and the blue boost is before the pedal. So when I turn this switch on, you'll see that this light goes red, and this side has no level attached to it, right? It's got no boost. That side is after the pedal. When I hit this switch here, it changes to blue, and that's the boost that's before the pedal, of which I have 19 dB of boost on, okay? So what that sounds like, again, boost before but none after, okay? What that sounds like is like this, off. It's a boost before your preamp, so it's going to add distortion. It sounds like this. Great sound. Then, however much boost Obviously, I add or take away from that if I lower it. Less distortion, the more I put into it. More distortion. Okay, so that's preset 1. It's got a boost before the pedal, but none after. If I then switch to preset 2, you'll see blue is now 0, which means there's no boost before the pedal. And red is 4, which means there's a 4 dB boost after the pedal. Okay, so what does that sound like? Pedal off, pedal on. Same sound, but louder. Now that is crucial. So that means I can have my pedal, so my preamp, the American sound, I can have it with a boost beforehand, going back to preset 1, right? Where I get more distortion. Basically a distortion pedal. I can have it after by hitting preset 2, which means I have a clean boost. So if I'm playing my clean sound and I just want that louder, preset 2. Really useful. Or I could want more distortion by hitting preset 1 and just stop. Okay, so that's really cool. Now I have a boost pedal before and after the thing. But where the other thing comes in is a third use where I turn on both. So if I go to preset 3, I now have more distortion and more boost. It's an ideal lead sound. So that's basically that, right? Depending on however much boost you want pre your pedal and post your pedal, you set up with the blue and red lights, okay? Really, really, really useful. And the fact that this is MIDI controllable means that as I make a patch change, I can have a pedal, right? And I can choose to either boost that pedal in the front, boost the pedal after it, or neither, or both. It effectively turns one distortion pedal into like a 4-channel distortion pedal. It's amazing. It's complicated to set up, but once you get your head around it, it's fine. And the fact that it needs a stereo jack input makes it complicated to do that, but it is possible. So yeah, that's the reason that I think this pedal is exceptional. And again, Omar from OPFX kicks it out of the park again with amazing design sensibilities. So there you go. That's the Twin Boost. So there you go, the Twin Boost by OPFX. Like, what it does in terms of its effect that it engages is really simple. It increases the volume going into wherever you put it before, and it increases the volume after whatever you put it after. But the way that it does it, and I have to talk about Omar here again, he's just a really brilliant thinker. Like, as I said, this is completely transparent and really, really quiet, which means there's no tone shaping going on here. It is simply a level control. But obviously when you put level into some sort of clipping, it becomes a gain boost, okay? But what Omar does with all of his pedals, this is the third pedal I reviewed the V-Uno, which is like a compact multi-effect unit, which is amazing. And then I reviewed the Electric Vibe, which is the best analog modulation pedal I've ever heard. End of story. Absolutely amazing. And this is brilliant as well. The guy makes phenomenal stuff. And his stuff on the grander scheme of things is kind of like, not affordable, but it's reasonably priced. And also, as a boutique pedal maker, he doesn't make boutique clones of fuzzes and boutique clones of clones and boutique clones of tube screamers. He makes innovative stuff. Like, he has this... I can't remember what it's called, but he has a synth pedal that just looks absolutely amazing. So I think everybody should go check out Omar's channel or his website and look at the different stuff he has. If you want to get effects that are going to like give your guitar tone a bit of signature, and if you want to like have functionality that's really innovative and really helps you play live, I think his stuff is phenomenal. I think he's one of the best builders I've ever come across, to tell you the truth. So that's that. This is the Twin Boost. Basically 2 pedals in one, really, because of the stereo ins and outs. And you should check out this, and you should check out all his other pedals. This is by far, by quite a distance, the best boost pedal I've ever played. It's the quietest, it's the most transparent, and the functionality just leaves every other boost pedal I've ever played in the dust. This is a brilliant piece of kit, and it's €150, which I think is a steal for what you're getting. So, there you go, the Twin Boost by OPFX. If you've enjoyed the video and you've watched this far, I say thank you. And I ask, if you have watched it, please like and subscribe. And also,
If you have any comments, throw them in the comment section down below and I'll be happy to answer them. Or questions, I'll answer them. Comments, I'll respond to them, I guess. My name's Rob, you've been watching The Guitar Effect, and I'll see you in another video again soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.